Shanahan era, he's been here 6 full seasons. He's used 3 quarterbacks every one of those years but one. 3 starting quarterbacks every one of those years but one. So I guess my first checklist for Brock Purdy, you're talking about like what are the expectations? Can you play 17 games?
Well, there's a lot of
what?
This Brock thing is weird.
What do you mean?
I'm seeing just stuff all over the place. You bring up expectations. I really don't know I don't know if I've heard anybody talk about the expectations for Brock Purdy. And I'm eager to know as a fan, what should the expectations be for Brock Purdy? I don't know. Win games? Like, what would the... All right, let's move it forward. If Trey Lance started 17 games, what would the expectations be for him in year number 3?
Well, last year, I think a lot of people were like, you got to win the Super Bowl, right?
There was a lot of people who had him as a dark horse MVP of the league.
I kept saying, can we make the playoffs? That's why I'm looking at Purdy. I'm like, play 17 games, make the playoffs.
But is that good enough?
No, because they have a team with, like 8 guys in the top 100.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
For me, it might be good enough. I don't think it's good enough for ownership. I don't think it's good enough for Kyle. And I'm sure as hell don't think it's good enough for a majority of the fans.
So with this team, and because you were just talking about Patrick Willis and you're talking about Frank Gore and how they didn't get a ring. So for you, Shasky, I'll ask you this. For you, the expectations are just getting to the playoffs and you're happy?
Well, no, then we'll see what happens from there. But, like, he's 24, 23 years old. We're talking about a guy who hasn't played
4 years of college. That's talking for you. Play 4 years of college.
Okay.
A lot of games.
Okay.
That's what people say.
No, I know. You're right. People do say that. But my counter would be like, and I don't think it's some crazy, like, I just want to see 17 games of it. Right? Like, I want to see what it looks like for 17 games before we anoint anyone. Like, forget Jimmy G, because everyone keeps going back, we just did this with Jimmy. We did this with Kaepernick. We did this with Alex Smith. Alex Smith went like 7-9 his second year. And people were like, we've got a franchise quarterback.
To me, I don't care who's playing quarterback this season.
Yeah.
I really don't. I don't give a damn anymore about the quarterback spot under Kyle Shanahan, because it feels like Kyle Shanahan is going to play musical chairs with that position throughout his tenure with the 49ers. Because I really don't think Shanahan knows truly what he wants at the quarterback spot. Maybe he wants a robot, but maybe he does. I don't know what Shanahan wants. I'm done trying to figure it out. But you know what? If this season falls anything short than a Super Bowl, then it's a disappointment. Let's just say that.
But see, like,
that's fair. That's fair.
Crazy to say about a 23-year-old quarterback who hasn't
it
played a full
doesn't matter.
season.
It doesn't matter. You got people comparing them to freaking Joe Montana.
But that's I agree.
He outdueled Brady last year.
That's lunacy.
Whether Mahomes has been young, Jalen Hurts is young, but these young quarterbacks are making things happen. Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert, Josh Allen. Right. These young quarterbacks are making things happen.
What did Burrow go to the Super Bowl in his second full season?
Yeah, they're making things happen, so I don't care about the age. Joe Montana was in his 3rd year in the league when he won his first Super Bowl. Tom Brady was in his 2nd year when he won a Super Bowl. Ben Roethlisberger was in his rookie season when he made the NFC Championship.
We're talking about all-time players.
People think Brock could be all-time.
And that's where I would say we got to pump the brakes a little. That's all I'm saying. And for me, I sound like a Purdy hater. I'm not. I'm trying to be realistic.
Okay.
It's hard to win in the NFL.
So you want to pump the brakes on Purdy, but I ain't pumping the brakes on the 49ers.
Okay.
The expectations for the 49ers.
That's fair.
Is a Super Bowl. That's what we're talking about here. Anything short of that because of what they've said to start training camp. Eric Armstead, Kyle Shanahan, Fred Warner, George Kittle, they've all said it. The mission is to go back to the Super Bowl and win it. That is the mission in 2023. And they feel like they got a guy right now in Brock Purdy who is relevant and can lead them. The players believe that. So I don't want to hear anything about 23-year-old, 24-year-old, because we've got a history of quarterbacks being. Dan Marino in his 2nd year with the Miami Dolphins broke the NFL record with most passing yards and most touchdowns. He never went back. But my point is, if you're a young quarterback, it does not matter. You may have your best chance to go to the Super Bowl as a young player.
Like Russell Wilson's best years or best opportunities were the early years.
When did he win the Super Bowl? The 2nd year?
Yeah.
So age to me does not matter. It's what you're doing on the field.
I know,
what Purdy did on the field last year.
To say that the only level of success for the Niners is the Super Bowl, which is totally fair when you list like all the players, and that's why I go back. I'm like, but that's so unfair for Purdy.
It is unfair, but you know what?
It's his reality.
He played, and he wants these expectations.
No,
and the
I know
players
he
should
does.
put them on him. They've called him.
But I'm setting myself up for being just depressed again at the end of the year.
Well, that's, you got that mindset. Listen, they put themselves in a position.
Team can win.
Yeah, only one team can win. But how many times do you want to fall short?
Well, I know.
How many times do you want to fall short?
I know.
How many times? How many times do you want to fall short in the NFC Championship game and say, you know what, that was a damn good year? We've been saying that for years.
I mean, how many times did everyone talks about Steve Young losing in the playoffs? Montana lost in the playoffs in the second round. Well, technically the first round back then because they didn't have the wild card the way they do now. He lost a bunch of times and no one brings that up.
Right. So, I mean, Purdy, let's figure out if he could be a guy. Let's figure out if he could be that guy. But back to Trey and Darnold for a second. Could you imagine if Trey struggles Sunday against the Raiders? What the dialogue will be on Monday? Like, I think that's what you need to wrap your brain around. We know Purdy's starting.
Okay.
Purdy's starting. He's a week one starter in Pittsburgh. Purdy's a leader in the clubhouse. He's running with the ones. We know he's starting.
Yeah.
That's a done deal.
Yeah, but to
Case
me,
closed.
that's the number one story for this team. But keep going.
It's the number one story. He's starting.
Yes.
Because
he's
the
your
backdrop
quarterback
right now.
What?
The backdrop right now, if that's story number one, a close second, and I may even call it 1B.
Pass rush?
To Purdy's
Nick
1A.
Bosa?
No. It's what is going to happen to Trey Lance. If Trey Lance struggles on Sunday against the Raiders, and he starts that game, and he struggles, did we get to week 2 of the preseason and Trey's the third quarterback on the roster? Then we're talking about Trey Lance never being a 49er again.
But I don't think
we're talking about Trey Lance. I think that's a huge development. If Trey Lance does not play well on Sunday, and the Niners have to make a decision on Trey Lance, and he doesn't make his roster, that to me supersedes Brock Purdy being a starter. It's like you just drafted a quarterback number 3 overall in 2021, and he's not even on the roster in year 3. In year 3,
but if
that
Purdy's
to me
good,
is huge.
If Purdy's good, it feels like you can negate it.
If he's good,
right? So that's why I keep going back. Like the whole Trey thing to me goes back to Purdy. If Purdy's balling and playing the way that he does, anything that happens with Trey Lance is going to be overlooked. Like Reuben Foster, if I say the name Reuben Foster, most people are like,
we got Fred Warner.
You don't even think twice.
No, you don't think twice about it.
Solomon Thomas.
But
Do you think twice about Solomon Thomas? No, because you have Nick Bosa.
But you know what? Can we all admit? This is the quarterback.
No, I know. It'll be remembered.
You miss on quarterback?
It'll be remembered.
You miss on quarterback. We'll remember this forever.
But if Purdy ends up being the guy, I think it negates a lot of the criticism. But if Purdy falls short, going back to then I think, and Trey Lance doesn't do well, now we're talking about a huge storm. A huge storm. I just keep saying, and I hear you, B, I know, but we're talking about the backup. And so right now, whether it's Darnold or Trey Lance, to me is kind of whatever. We'll see. And believe me, I will be watching and I'll be all over it. And I'm not
talking
pretending.
about a backup who was drafted number 3 overall after the Niners gave up essentially 3 picks for Trey Lance. They swapped first-round picks that year with the Dolphins. Then it gave up another first-round pick and a couple twos. That's huge compensation.
It is.
When you look at the players they could have drafted.
The most compensation they've given up in any trade in the history of the team.
Exactly. So to say that's not a big deal or won't be a big deal, Purdy has to prove that he's the guy in order for that to not be a big deal. And that goes on the resume of Lynch and Shanahan.
Oh, no doubt.
It does.
No doubt.
If Purdy doesn't pan out and Trey Lance is not on his roster to start the season, that goes on the resume of Lynch and Shanahan. And that may be a pick they may not be able to overcome because of the quarterback spot. Because it's the one position we're still talking about here in San Francisco saying, who's the guy? Who's not the guy? Who is the guy?
Let's say Purdy has a mediocre year this year, right? Trey doesn't play at all. Doesn't matter if he's the 2 or the 3. Just put that aside. Let's just say he doesn't play at all, and Purdy does play, but he's mediocre. Isn't that as big of an indictment as Trey's the number 3 and he didn't play? To me, they've already chosen Purdy. Now it's all about Purdy.
Yeah, it should.
The Trey Lance thing's an afterthought, and if they can salvage anything back in return, whether he's playing for them, whether they get a pick for him or whatever, that's kind of the secondary story too. Well, now you've chosen Brock Purdy, so that's why I keep going back to Brock Purdy. I'm like, dude, you're setting this guy up for crazy expectations. It goes with
Brock Purdy.
What?
It's all part of the storyline.
Yeah, it's all intertwined.
It's all part of the storyline. Brock Purdy doesn't pan out, and Trey Lance is not playing, and they're saying, "Boy, we're kicking the tires on Sam Darnold."
I know.
Think about that. As Niner fans.
And do you let him make a decision next year on a quarterback in the offseason?
You may not have a choice.
After that?
You may not have a choice. But here's the deal. Here's the deal. This team is so stacked that there's many fans that believe Sam Darnold could lead this team deep into the playoffs. That's how stacked they are. We believe a quarterback who's been below average, because that's what he's been. I don't give a damn who he's played with. I don't care what organization, coaching, assets, whatever.
Yeah,
Let's keep it real. Why can't we keep it real
90
when it comes to Sam
turnovers in
Darnold?
like 80
Let's keep
games.
it real. Sam Darnold has been below average
Well, yes.
in his NFL career.
Yes.
And we're expecting him, if he does start 17 games, to say, you know what, it's okay because we got Shanahan. You could plug and play any quarterback,
because you have
and you're going to win games, which makes the trade for
players
Trey
in
Lance even more asinine to me, because you're saying basically now that we could put in any quarterback in the system and it can win 11 games. You traded 3 picks for Trey Lance because you thought you had to get a dude. So things just don't make sense when it comes to the quarterback position in San Francisco, and that's a little frustrating. It's a little frustrating.
Well, they've pivoted. Wouldn't you agree? Like immediate pivot.
Have they?
I mean, Purdy's getting number 1 reps for a reason, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's getting number 1 reps for a reason. The thing about
It's
real
really
deal.
I'm with you, Tyler. It is depressing, really talking about the quarterback stuff in San Francisco. It gets depressing.
Well, I feel like we've set all these kids up to fail. I mean, you have 3 guys under the age of 25 all competing for, little passes here in camp that we think mean everything and they mean nothing. You know what I mean?
We're the only fan base who believes that you don't need a top flight quarterback to win the Super Bowl.
Because you have 8 players in the top 100.
Right. And which is asinine because you need a quarterback.
So
it keeps being proven over and over again, with the exception of the Ravens in 2000 and the Buccaneers in
And the
02.
2015.
And the 2015 Denver Broncos. Yeah. Outside of that, you need elite quarterbacks.
And the 2019 Niners who should have won. I'm teasing there. That was a joke.
You should have won. It's just, I mean, we've convinced ourselves that Sam Darnold could lead this team to his, maybe what he said, his bold proclamation was Sam Darnold leading the Niners to the Super Bowl. And you don't think Niner fans ate that up? We will eat up anything. But again, it's like Spadoni and the Raiders.
Why does that make you so angry? Well, I'm curious.
No, hold on. It's just like Raider fans when they talk about great quarterback play, right? Spadoni's all over Kirk Cousins, thinks he's a great quarterback. We have been conditioned. Even the broadcaster of the 49ers, play-by-play, I'll say this right now, Greg Papa, he was around so many terrible Raider quarterbacks that we now see a quarterback in Santa Clara, and he's above average, or if he's a little better than average, we say, oh, my God, we got a quarterback. Think about how laughable it is now that I was all in on Jimmy Garoppolo. I was all in on that guy.
Everyone was.
Because we've been conditioned to root for mediocre quarterbacks for so long in this region, whether it's the Niners or the Raiders. We've had damn near 20 years of incompetence at the quarterback position. And quite frankly, I'm freaking tired of it, Shasky. I'm tired of it. I want my Mahomes. I want my Burrow. We're up here talking about 3 quarterbacks. I want my freaking Trevor Lawrence. And we had a chance to get him not once, but twice. And we still don't have a damn quarterback out here. That's what's frustrating. I got to rely on Brock Purdy, who's the last pick of the draft, who's coming off a torn UCL, and he's got to go to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and take on the Steelers in week 1, and TJ Watt is breathing down his neck. I'm supposed to think he's going to survive 17 games? Brock Purdy? I'm tired of mediocre quarterbacks. I'm tired of it. That's why I don't want to talk about Jimmy G no more. I'm tired of it. Can I get Aaron Rodgers for once?
No.
Dang it, we passed up Tom Brady because we thought Jimmy G was marginally worse than Tom Brady. My coaching staff did that.
Time out. I didn't. I wanted Brady.
Shanahan said
when the GOAT of
Brady's
all time,
marginally better than Jimmy Garoppolo, so we're going to pass him up.
Yeah, he's wrong.
I'm tired of it.
I
20 years
Jimmy.
of incompetent quarterback play. We had a couple flashes in bed with Kaepernick. We had a couple flashes here and there. That's it. But damn it, I'm watching the quarterback doc, and everybody was like, "Whoa, Kirk Cousins warmed up America's hearts." Forget that. Did you see Mahomes? Did you see Patrick Mahomes? That's what I want. And we're sitting here talking about Sam Darnold, Trey Lance, and Brock Purdy. Damn it. What did I do to the football gods? This is depressing. It's more depressing than Giants baseball.
Is it?
Yes. We pass up on great quarterbacks for the last two. Raider fans and Niner fans are in lockstep. We don't know what great quarterback play is anymore. We don't know. No, we know it when other people come to our stadiums. We know when Patrick Mahomes goes to Levi Stadium. We know what great quarterback play is.
So I just want to make sure that I'm trying to follow along. Is the only way that Brock Purdy could prove that he's great is by winning the Super Bowl?
He's got to win a Super Bowl.
So all the stats mean nothing.
I mean, he's got to be great with stats. He's going to throw 4,000 yards. He's going to throw for 4,500.
I mean,
30-plus touchdowns.
Those 2 years of Jared Goff would be the best 49er quarterback season since Jeff Garcia.
Right.
Either one of them. And people think Jared Goff stinks.
I just want my guy. And if Brock Purdy's a guy, then damn it, I'm going to wrap my arms around him. But I just want a guy. I just want my guy. I'm tired of talking about this. Every single year I've been at this damn station, we talked about the quarterbacks in San Francisco. And then the guy who's coaching the damn team doesn't even know what he wants. Got Jimmy G throwing 4 times with 1:49 left in Super Bowl 54, and then decides to bring him back, knowing that he can't make a throw when it matters. So part of it is on Shanahan. And all of a sudden, I'm the bad guy for admitting it. Damn. That's my guy. That's all I want. Can I get a Mahomes for once? It's been 30 years since Steve Young retired, right? 26 years. I think we sacrifice enough in football heaven.
Well, you have Steve Young because apparently the Niners staff thinks that Sam Darnold could be Steve Young.
Oh, my God.